I am 88 years old, and for the last 12 years I have been a resident of the Magnolia Springs Memory Care Pavilion. They tell me the name is meant to sound inviting, like a summer retreat, but I know what it is. It is a warehouse for the inconvenient. I live in room 402. It has a beige recliner, a television I rarely turn on, and a window that looks out onto a courtyard where a fake bus stop stands. They put it there so the ones who have truly lost their way can sit and wait for a bus that will never come, hoping to go back to a home that no longer exists. I watch them from my window, their coats buttoned wrong, their eyes searching the horizon, and I feel a profound, sharpened grief, not because I am like them, but because I am forced to pretend that I am. My children believe I am a victim of a sweetheart swindle. That is the term the social worker used. They believe their father, the man who ran the Savannah public school system with an iron calendar and a ledger that balanced to the penny, finally let his guard down. They think I met a woman, or perhaps a series of voices on the phone, and handed over $500,000 of my life's work for the promise of a companionship that didn't exist. They tell the doctors I started wandering into my finances, that I became muddled. They use these soft, padded words to describe what they perceive as the rot of my intellect. But my mind is as clear as a bell in a frost-covered tower. I remember everything. I remember the exact smell of the mimeograph machine in my first office in 1962. I remember the names of the troublemakers I suspended in 1975, and I remember the exact sequence of numbers I typed into the wire transfer screen on a rainy Tuesday night in 2014. I was Elias Thorne. For 38 years, I was the principal. I wore a three-piece suit even when the Georgia humidity made the air feel like wet wool. I believed in the transformative power of discipline and the absolute necessity of a clean record. My wife Clara and I built a life out of small, calculated sacrifices. We didn't buy a new car every 3 years. We buffed the wax on the old Volvo until the paint was thin. We didn't fly to the Caribbean. We camped in the Blue Ridge Mountains and ate sandwiches out of a cooler. We had a brick ranch house on a quiet street, 3 children who never wanted for anything essential, and a savings account that grew like a slow, steady oak tree. By the time Clara passed away in 2012, I sat on a nest egg of over $500,000, my pension, my equity, my dignity. It was my insurance policy against the world. Then came Sarah, my youngest, my star. Sarah was the one who inherited my drive, but none of my caution. She was a high-level executive at a real estate investment firm in Atlanta, a woman who moved through the world with a sharp-edged confidence that made me proud and terrified all at once. She called me at 3 a.m. I knew it was her before I picked up the phone. Only Sarah moves at that hour, but her voice was different. It wasn't the voice of a CEO. It was the voice of the 6-year-old who had once broken a neighbor's window and hidden in the crawl space. She had borrowed from a client's escrow account. It was supposed to be a temporary bridge, a move to cover a shortfall in a personal development project that had gone sideways. She was going to put it back in 48 hours, but the market dipped, the audit was moved up, and the money was gone. She was looking at a decade in a federal prison. She was looking at the total destruction of her name, the loss of her children, and a headline in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution that would have killed me faster than any stroke. "Dad," she whispered, and the sound of it broke my heart into 1,000 jagged pieces. If I don't settle this by Friday, the authorities are notified. Everything I've built, it's over. I'm not a criminal, Dad. I just got ahead of myself. I didn't sleep. I sat in Clara's old rocking chair and watched the sun come up over the Savannah Oaks. I thought about the thousands of students I had lectured on accountability. I thought about the iron thorn reputation I had cultivated. And then I thought about Sarah in a jumpsuit, her daughters visiting her behind glass, her spirit being ground into the dust of a correctional facility. I realized that my $500,000 wasn't an insurance policy for my old age. It was a ransom note for my daughter's life. I did it. I didn't hesitate. I hired a lawyer I knew from my days on the school board, a man who knew how to make things quiet. We settled the accounting discrepancy with the firm. The money was replaced, the records were corrected, and the investigation was strangled in its cradle. No charges were filed, no news broke. Sarah was safe, but I was empty. The oak tree had been chopped down to the stump. The deal we made was that we would tell her brothers, Marcus and Julian, that I was selling the house to move into a smaller, more manageable condo. Sarah promised to help me manage the transition. But the guilt did something to her, or perhaps it was the fear. When Marcus and Julian started asking questions, why was Dad suddenly living in a cramped one-bedroom rental? Where was the $500,000 from the house sale and the pension? Sarah didn't tell them the truth. She couldn't. To tell them would be to admit she was a thief who had stripped her father of his future. Instead, she told a lie that was much easier for them to swallow. She told them I had become obsessed with a woman she'd never seen, a fictional caretaker or friend I was supposedly sending money to. She painted a picture of a lonely, grieving widower being bled dry by a phantom. She suggested that my cognitive decline was making me an easy target for scammers. I sat at the Thanksgiving table in 2016 and watched it happen. I watched Marcus look at me with a mixture of anger and pity. I watched Julian shake his head, whispering about power of attorney. And I looked at Sarah. She wouldn't meet my eyes. She was staring at the mashed potatoes, her hands trembling. I had a choice in that moment. I could have stood up, cleared my throat in that way that used to silence a gymnasium full of teenagers, and told the truth. I could have exposed her. I could have kept my house, my money, and my reputation as a sharp-witted man. But I looked at Sarah's face, and I saw the fragility of her recovery. If I told the truth, she wouldn't just lose her money, she would lose her brothers. She would lose the respect of her children. The family would fracture into a million pieces, and she would be the villain of the story. So I did what a principal does. I took the blame. I let my jaw go a little slack. I acted confused when they asked about the bank statements. I leaned into the muddled persona they had already built for me. I became the victim, so she didn't have to be the criminal. They moved me here in 2018. Marcus led the charge. He's a good man, Marcus, but he likes things to be orderly. A father who lost his mind to a scammer is an orderly tragedy. A sister who stole $500,000 is a chaotic one. He chose the order. He sold my remaining furniture, put my books in storage, and signed the papers for room 402. He thinks he's protecting me. He thinks he's the hero of this story, the son who stepped in when his father went soft. Julian doesn't visit much. He can't stand the smell of the place, the lavender-scented bleach, and the underlying scent of old age. He sends cards with pre-printed messages and checks in with the nurses. He tells his friends, "Dad's gone, really, just a shell now." It hurts hearing that. It hurts to be spoken about in the past tense while you're still breathing the air. Sarah comes every Tuesday. She brings those peppermint candies I like and sits in the chair by the window. We talk about the weather, or the birds in the courtyard, or her daughters. She tells me about their grades and their soccer matches. She never mentions the money. She never mentions the night she called me crying. But sometimes, when the nurse isn't looking, she'll take my hand and hold it so tight her knuckles turn white. She'll look at me with a desperation that says everything she can't put into words. "You're so good to me, Dad," she'll whisper, and I just nod and smile my confused smile, the one that makes her feel safe. The truth is hidden in a small, battered leather ledger under the lining of my suitcase in the closet. It contains every date, every wire transfer, every communication from the lawyer. It is my proof. It is my get out of jail free card. I could show it to the head nurse tomorrow. I could call Marcus and demand an evaluation. I could be out of here and living in a small apartment by the coast by the end of the week. I could have my name back. I could be Elias Thorne again, the man who knew everything. But then I think about the cost. If I am sane, then the money is gone because of Sarah. If the money is gone because of Sarah, her world ends. And so the ledger stays under the lining. I stay in the beige recliner. I watch the people wait for the bus at the fake bus stop. And I realize that we are all waiting for something that isn't coming. They are waiting for their memories. And I am waiting for the end of a secret I have to take to my grave. The Parkinson's is starting to show now, a tremor in my right hand that I can no longer hide. My legs feel like they're made of lead some mornings. The staff here is kind, in the way people are kind to children or broken toys. They speak to me in high-pitched voices and pat my arm. They don't know that I spent my life shaping the minds of the men and women who now run this city. They don't know that I can still recite the preamble to the Constitution or explain the mechanics of a high-pressure boiler. To them, I am just Elias in 402, the one who likes peppermints and stares at the courtyard. Sometimes, in the middle of the night, the anger comes. It's a cold, sharp thing. I get angry at Marcus for being so eager to lock me away. I get angry at the world for being so expensive. But mostly, I get angry at the silence. The silence is the heaviest thing I've ever carried. It's heavier than the grief of losing Clara. It's heavier than the responsibility of the school system. It's a silence that erases you. When you're senile, your words don't have weight. Your protests are just symptoms. Your memories are just confabulations. I have traded my voice for my daughter's freedom, and it is a lonely, quiet trade. But then Tuesday comes. Sarah walks through that door, and she looks at me, and for a second the mask slips. She sees me, not the muddled old man, but the father who saved her. And in that second, I know I would do it all over again. I would burn the house down with my own hands if it meant she could keep walking in the sun. I'm 88. I've lived 32,120 days. I've spent 4,380 of them in this room. I don't know how many are left. Maybe 100. Maybe 1,000. It doesn't matter. The ledger is hidden. The secret is safe. My daughter is free. And if the price of that freedom is that my sons think I'm a fool and the world thinks I'm a ghost, then I will pay it. I've always been a man who paid his debts. I look out at the fake bus stop. There's a woman sitting there now, Mrs. Higgins from room 405. She's wearing her Sunday best and holding a plastic handbag. She thinks she's going to her sister's wedding in 1974. She looks happy. There is a mercy in her forgetting that I don't have. I have to remember. I have to remember every penny, every lie, and every Tuesday. But as she sits there waiting for her bus, I find myself wishing her a safe journey. We all have our ways of surviving the things we can't change. Hers is a bus that never comes. Mine is a ledger that will never be read. Both are a kind of haunting. Both are a kind of love. I reach for a peppermint candy, my hand shaking just a little, and I settle back into the beige recliner. The sun is setting over the courtyard, casting long skeletal shadows across the fake bus stop. I am Elias Thorne. I am sane. I am broke. And I am exactly where I chose to be.